Good evening, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you again for coming back. Today is February the 9th, 2023. I have several news updates to share with you. The tension related with the Orthodox Church still continue, became very serious. So now you can see from multiple press release announcement from the Ethiopian government, you see the situation is at the boiling point. It's a very serious one. So last time the joint task force, the federal or defense force, the intelligence, the federal police, and the information network agency all combined, they released a statement on the current crisis in Ethiopia. Then again, Addis Ababa city administration released another press statement today. Yet again, another one from Ethiopian government communication service. I will start with that one. So this is very serious warning for those creating trouble by using Orthodox crisis as a pretext. So this is a very serious warning, and it's in Amharic. Let's listen to that one and continue with other news update. The new Synod is enjoying it's a welcoming ceremony in different cities. So it looks like at the point of no return for those wishing the status quo. So let's listen to Ethiopian government communication agency statement on the current situation in Ethiopia. Then I will just try to give you a rough translation.
ከመንግስት ኮሚኒኬሽን አገልግሎት በወቅታዊ ጉዳዮች ላይ የተሰጠ መግለጫ እንደሚከተለው ይቀርባል። በኢትዮጵያ ኦርቶዶክስ ተዋሕዶ አባቶች መካከል የተፈጠረው መለያየት በሰላማዊ መንገድ በውይይትና በውስጥ አሰራር እንዲፈታ መንግስት አቋም መያዙ ይታወቃል። ለዚህም የሀገር ሽማግሌዎችና የሚመለከታቸው ሁሉ ጥረት እያደረጉ ይገኛሉ። በሕገ መንግስታችን መንግስታዊ ሃይማኖትም ሆነ ሃይማኖታዊ መንግስት ሊኖር እንደማይችል ተደንግጓል። በኢትዮጵያ ኦርቶዶክስ ቤተክርስቲያን አባቶች መካከል የተፈጠረው ልዩነትም በቤተክርስቲያኒቱ ውስጣዊ አሰራርና ከዚያም ካለፈ በፍትሐ ብሔር ዳኝነት የሚታይ ነው። አስፈጻሚው አካልም በፍርድ ቤት ሲወሰን ብቻ የማስፈጸም ኃላፊነቱን እንደሚወጣ ይታወቃል። ይህ በእንዲህ እንዳለ አጋጣሚውን ለእኩይ የፖለቲካ ዓላማ ለመጠቀም የሚንቀሳቀሱ አካላት እየተገለጡ መሆኑን መንግስት በልዩ ልዩ መንገዶች አረጋግጧል። የመስዋዕትነት ሰልፍ አዘጋጅ በሚል ከባለ ሀብቶች ከፖለቲከኞችና ከመንፈሳውያን የወጣት አደረጃጀቶች የተውጣጣ ቡድን ከማዕከል እስከ ታች መዋቅሩን መንግስት ደርሶበታል። አጋጣሚውን በትጥቅ በተደገፈ እውቀት መንግስትን የመነቅነቅ ፍላጎት ያለው ይህ ቡድን ወጣቶችን እየመለመለ ማሰማራት መጀመሩን ለዓላማው በልዩ ልዩ መንገዶች ገንዘብ በመሰብሰብ እያሰራጨ መሆኑንና በህገወጥ መንገድ ከታጠቁ ኃይሎች ጋርም ግንኙነት እየፈጠረ መሆኑን መንግስት አረጋግጧል። ለዚህ እኩይ ዓላማ አስቀድሞ አስበውበት ያደራጁት የሚዲያ ቡድን ስራውን መጀመሩም ተረጋግጧል። በዚህ የክትትል ሂደት ድምጽ ያላቸውና የሌላቸው መሳሪያዎች ይዘው ሁከት የሚፈጥሩ አካላት በስምሪት ላይ እያሉም ተይዘዋል። የቤተክርስቲያንን ደውል ላልተገባ ዓላማ በመጠቀም ህዝብን ለብጥብጥ የሚዳርጉ ቡድኖችም ታይተዋል። በየአካባቢው ወጣቶችን ለግጭት የሚመለምሉና የሚያሰማሩ አካላት ተደርሶባቸዋል። የፖለቲካ ዓላማቸውን በሃይማኖት ሽፋን ለማስፈጸም የሚሞክሩ ኃይሎች በቁጥጥር ስር ውለዋል። የተሰጣቸውን ኃላፊነት በመጠቀም የሰዎችንና የእምነት ተቋማትን መብቶች በመጣስ የመንግስትን መልካም ስም ለማጥፋት የሚፈልጉ ስውር እጆች እንዳሉም ታውቋል። በአጠቃላይ የተፈጠረውን ችግር ከመፍታት ይልቅ ችግሩን ለግልጽ የፖለቲካ ዓላማ ማሳኪያ አድርገው ወደ መጠቀም ተሸጋግሯል። ይህ ደግሞ የሀገርን ሰላም፣ ደህንነትና ልማት የሚጎዳ ነው። በመሆኑም በዚህ ተግባር ሆን ብለው የተሰማሩትን በቁጥጥር ስር አውሎ ለህግ የማቅረብ ተግባር ተጀምሯል። ይህም ተጠናክሮ ይቀጥላል። ከዚህ በኋላ መንግስት ቀደም ሲል ሲገልጽ እንደነበረው ጉዳዩ ቀይ መስመር ያለፈ ሆኖ በማግኘቱ የመስዋዕትነት ሰልፍ ብሎ ሰላማዊ ሰልፍ የሌለ በመሆኑ ሀገራዊ መረጋጋትን ለመፍጠርና የዜጎችን ደህንነት ለማረጋገጥ ሲባል መንግስት ጠንካራ የህግ ማስከበር ስራ ውስጥ የሚገባ መሆኑን ከወዲሁ ያሳውቃል። በዚህ አጋጣሚ ባለማወቅና በቅንነት የጥፋት ኃይሎችን የምትከተሉ ሁሉ መንገዱ ወደ ከፋ ጥፋት እንደሚወስዳችሁ ተረድታችሁ ከድርጊታችሁ እንድትቆጠቡ መንግስት ያሳስባል። መላው ህዝባችንም እንደቀደመው ሁሉ ከጸጥታ አካላት ጋር በመተባበር አካባቢውንና ሰላሙን እንዲጠብቅ መንግስት ጥሪ ያቀርባል። ህጋዊና ህገ መንግስታዊ ስርዓቱን በመናድ በአቋራጭ በማንኛውም አይነት ጉልበትና ሁከት እኩይ የፖለቲካ ፍላጎትን ማሳካት አይቻልም። የካቲት 2 ቀን 2015 ዓ.ም አዲስ አበባ የመንግስት ኮሚኒኬሽን አገልግሎት።
ኦኬ Okay, I will come back to this welcoming ceremony. So that's a very serious warning from Ethiopia's government. Already started the action of detaining, according to information, it says those who are trying to use the Orthodox crisis as a pretext and conduct a coup against Abiy Ahmed. There are engagement with armed group. There is a media already ready for this purpose, fundraising for this program, and weapons to be used for this action. So it's just very serious warning for those trying to do, the coup by using the religious crisis as a pretext. So that's a very serious warning for those trying to take advantage by using this crisis, and is telling them, you cannot use a crisis for political gain. And according to the statement, the government tried to settle this issue with negotiation and advising the church community to settle their issue internally. But all this effort is unsuccessful, and now the government is taking measure, and it's warning that it will continue the law enforcement and is ready to face challenge. This is just to try to maybe frighten those trying to protest in the capital city and other towns and cities, and including the Patriarch Abuna Matthios. So the Orthodox Church determined, the status quo determined to conduct massive protests in Ethiopia, and the government doesn't want this to happen. So they are just using their power to silence this group, and thus you can see this threatening, warning press release from Ethiopia's government, and also advising those, citizens not to join this protest, and also call upon citizens to safeguard the country. So we'll see. It's a very serious warning, and the next few days are very challenging days for Ethiopians and for the government. Also for the international community, ambassadors, counselors living in Addis Ababa, they should pay attention, and they should watch their surrounding, this very chaotic situation in Ethiopia, especially in Addis Ababa. So we're gonna continue watching it, and we'll report to you as it happens. So that's a very serious warning from Ethiopia's government. And as I said, Addis Ababa city also released a similar statement today, warning citizens not to participate in this upcoming Orthodox called protest. So there are multiple warnings. Yesterday or before yesterday, the Joint Task Force also released a statement, and I also have Addis Standard on that one. I'll read after this welcoming the new Synod in Waliso, Sabata, and other places. They are welcomed. So the status quo is fighting against something that cannot be, get profit or get gain. It cannot reverse. I can see it. Cannot be reversed. Cannot be reversed. They can fight. They can put on black or whatever color. They can fast for 3 days or more. This is a point of no return. The new synod is accepted by Orthodox believers and others, and possibly supported by local, regional, and federal government. So that's the reality. The status quo must understand and figure out how can they deal with this in the future. How can they survive the upcoming tornado? This is a tornado, so far succeeding. So that's a challenge. They have to face it. Let's listen for a few minutes the new synod, the welcoming ceremony. I think it's in Waliso. It happened also in Sabata. It happened also in Jimma, Shashamane. It's happening everywhere slowly, despite the challenges, from the status quo. The status quo, rang the bell, call upon believers to fast for 3 days, wear black clothing, get armed with a stick and stones to challenge the new synod, but so far it's not working. They can create chaos and anarchy or the loss of life, but they cannot reverse the reality. Thank you. Let's listen. Credit for OMM, the previous one credit for FANA. So this is the welcoming ceremony for the new archbishops in Waliso, I think. Chol.
The Daytona to ton aluminum racing jack versus the Snap-on FJ 175 1.5 ton aluminum jack. The Daytona
Okay, saying even they are welcomed by non-Orthodox believers. That's Muslims welcome this group. There's an audio issue, so apologies. Okay, so it's telling somebody converted from Muslim to Orthodox in welcoming these new archbishops. Okay, he's talking about the residents of Waliso and Shore, West Shore, I think. Is it not West Shore? So they are presenting the gift for Abunosaurus, the head of this new synod. I think we're just looking for those elders or abbagadas or senior Oromo traditional leaders to deliver a gift. Okay, just I try to show you, the welcoming of this new synod led by Abuna Sauros, by massive residents of Waliso and West Shore residents.
Agi wanatti osoo bishaan illee qabdu sibiidoo keenya jiru. Kanumaan muruu eebbisaa jiru. Gammachuu guddaa irra jirra. Galata galchaa waaqayyoo dhaabbiin jedhaati. Kanaaf tasgabbuudhaan gara kennaatti deemna. Kana eenyutu godhu? Uummata magaalaa Walisoo agara sirkatii wajjin walii ta'uudhaan biyya lallaba godinaa wajjin waliin ta'uudhaan eebbifamoo abbaa keenyaa abbaa Saawuros walitti qabaa Sinodoosii Oromiyaa fi sabaaf sablammootaati. Isaaniif kennaa guddaa kana qabu. Isa kana gara sanatti hojii gaggeessaan mana lubummaa yookaan immoo biyya lallabaa godina kibba Itoophiyaa fi dargaggoonni waliin ta'uudhaan kennaa kana dhiyeessaa jiru. Harka keessallee hundumti keessa walitti rukutaa.
Okay, they're just now presenting the gift to Abnosaurus, the head of the new synod. There we go, that's the new synod. The head of the new synod just formed a few days ago. Okay, that's a gift for the new synod, the new bishops. You know, that's they're welcoming them with open arms, with happiness and joy. So, if you want to continue watching, more details is available on OMN, Oromia Media Network. So that's, I just try to show you a little bit about how this new synod, these new bishops are welcomed wherever they go, despite propaganda and call by status quo to call upon the residents to arm against this new synod to fight back. But nothing happened there. They are welcome. They are well celebrated. Okay, we'll continue with other news. Okay, we'll come back to President Isaias Afwerki's visit to Kenya, and welcomed, warm welcome by William Ruto of Kenya's president. So let's continue. This is from Addis Standard. Let me see. Government Orthodox Synod in heightened war of words. Synod goes ahead with planned rally despite warning by Joint Task Force. We'll see. In a sign of deepening fracture between the government and the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, EOTS, Holy Synod in Addis Ababa, both have released statements this afternoon in which the former claimed possession of intelligence on a group that wants to seize the church's schism as an opportunity to shake the government with armed violence, and which has started recruiting young people for that purpose. The Holy Synod, in its latest statement, said that regardless of yesterday's statement given by the Joint Security and Intelligence Task Force banning unauthorized rallies, its plan to conduct nationwide demonstrations will go ahead as scheduled. The Synod said the ban on the rallies by the Joint Task Force makes it firmly believe that the government is not solving the problem, but shows it was rather a declaration to destroy the church once and for all. That's the claim of the status quo. So the Joint Task Force include National Intelligence and Security Service, NISS, Ethiopia's National Defense Force, ENDF, Ethiopian Federal Police, and National Information Network Security Agency, INSA. Furthermore, it said that holding peaceful demonstration is a fundamental in international human rights and is clearly stipulated in Article 30 of the Ethiopian Constitution. The government should respect and enforce the Constitution itself. The Synod added that it will expand the horizons of its planned and announced national and international peaceful demonstration on 12 February without interference from anyone, while informing that it will be held in its own square. The government's role is to fulfill its governmental responsibility properly so that the procession ends peacefully. The statement by the Synod was released shortly before the one by the Government Communication Service was released, and said that the breakaway archbishops with whom the Synod is at loggerhead are being supported by extremist politicians and followers of other faiths. The honor and institutional superiority of the Church has been violated in this short period of time, the Synod said, explaining in details what it said was government support takeover of the Church's possessions by the group the Synod excommunicated and condemned for violating the Church's canonical principles. The government, on its part, said that it has discovered that a group composed of business people, politicians, and spiritual youth associations has been organized from the center to the bottom, and is organizing a rally called Sacrifices of the Martyrs Rally. The statement further accused the group of wanting to take the opportunity to shake the government with armed violence. It also claimed of having intelligence that the group has started recruiting young people, collecting money for its purpose in various ways and illegally, and adding that the government has confirmed that the group is creating avenue of relationship with the armed forces. So this is just a translation of the government communication service statement in Amharic. It has been confirmed that the media, which has been planned and organized for this evil purpose, has started its work. The statement from the government says. I don't know which media the government is talking. In this monitoring process, writers with different devices have been caught while on deployment. Groups have also been seen using church bells for inappropriate purpose to cause violence. They have been found in every area recruiting and deploying youth for conflict. Forces trying to pursue their political goals under the guise of religion have been arrested. It is also known that there are invisible hands who want to destroy the reputation of the government by violating the rights of people and the religious institutions by using the responsibility given to them. The tensions between the Holy Synod in Addis Ababa and the government have reached heightened level following differences over the 3 breakaway archbishops and their 25 appointee episcopates. After Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed weighed in with a call for dialogue and remarked on the schism, saying that it was possible to resolve it without suppressing people's right and the demand to use one's own language. The Holy Synod slammed the Prime Minister's remark and accused the government of direct involvement in the crisis. 2 days ultimatum and a red line crossed. In today's statement, the Synod said that the walls of the church were stormed by armed forces and the government security forces. Popes and fathers were expelled from their dioceses, where they lived for many years without any legal basis by security structure. Their freedom of movement was restricted, and they were sent back to Addis Ababa in exile. They were also banned from returning to their dioceses. Over the weekend, clashes between followers of Orthodox Christianity and the local police in West Arsi Zone, Shashamane city of the Oromia region on Saturday, February 4, claimed the lives of many people. The clashes erupted at St. Michael Church during a reception ceremony for members clergy appointed by the new Holy Synod of Oromia and the nations and nationalities. Today, the Synod said that it has received information that so far more than 30 members of our church, including priests and ministers, have accepted martyrdom for their religion in the hope that the walls will not be breached and the church will not be defiled by condemned individuals. A large number of her children are also being treated for serious and minor injuries. On Monday, Addis Ababa police said that 19 police leaders and officers sustained serious and light injuries during a confrontation with a group of people who gathered at St. Lideta of the Orthodox Church located in Philidoro, a location bordering Addis Ababa city and Oromia Regional State Special Zone surrounding Finfinne. The Synod warned if the government continues to violate the law and humiliate the dignity and honor of the Church in the same way, the Church will expand the scope of its completely peaceful movement in order to uphold its rights based on the law that the government has violated. It is also warned that the government should come out of its stubbornness, stop publicly cooperating with the illegal individuals and to end the violation of the law within the next 2 days, including today, to uphold law and order as well as vacate the papacy and the local churches they invaded by force and hand over the legal structure to the church. The Synod also puts the government on notice to release the priests and parishioners who have been illegally detained and to publicly apologize for the abuse it committed against the church. Furthermore, it strongly demanded the government to pay proper compensation for the deaths and injuries of the priests and the faithful and to repair the destroyed properties. The government on its part said the issue has crossed the red line and there is no such thing as a martyrdom march. It also said that the security forces will begin engaging in strong law enforcement in order to create national stability and ensure the safety of citizens. So that is a real confrontation between the government and the status quo of Orthodox, those who are refusing the change, those who are refusing to negotiate with the new formed synod. So we'll see. They're determined to come out and protest and demanding the government a lot of things, releasing the priest, paying the compensation, apologizing. I don't think Abiy Ahmed has that kind of attitude. Never apologize for the mistakes happen under his leadership. So I don't think he will apologize for this one too. So the issue is not forcing the government to apologize. The issue should be, again, the status quo should clearly understand this group is at the point of no return. They will not come back and rule by the status quo. They're determined to preach equality, to preach love in their own language, and have the right, to grow within the church structure. So there is no way they will come back to you. So you need to figure out something else. How can you work with this group? This is BBC. Malawi's cholera outbreak. This serious outbreak in Malawi. Let me read. The World Health Organization, WHO, says Malawi is going through its worst ever outbreak of cholera. It has killed more than 1,200 people over the last year. All but 2 of the country's 29 districts are now affected. There have been 2 large vaccination campaigns, but due to limited supplies, people have been offered just one oral dose instead of the recommended 2. The United Nations Health Body said efforts were underway to improve sanitation and access to clean water with house-to-house chlorination in affected areas. It says there has been an increase in cholera outbreaks worldwide, which has led to a shortage of vaccines. So that's credit for BBC. Another one from BBC. This is an update on the serious earthquake happened just last few days in Turkey and Syria. That's really a devastating earthquake, 7.8. And let me read this. The death toll is jumping to the roof, really, and the injuries. Rescuers are still searching rubble for survivors, but hopes are fading almost 100 hours since the tremors struck. Freezing conditions threatening the lives of thousands of survivors who are now without shelter, water, and food. Turkey's president called the quake the disaster of the century. A major international relief effort is gathering pace. On Thursday, the World Bank pledged $1.7 billion in aid to Turkey, including immediate finance for rebuilding basic infrastructure and to support those affected by the earthquakes. But the efforts of 100,000 or more rescue personnel on the ground are being hampered by a number of logistical hurdles, including vehicle shortages and devastated roads. UN Chief Antonio Guterres warned the full extent of the catastrophe was still unfolding before our eyes, especially in Syria, where a long-running civil war has devastated the country. On Thursday, the first UN humanitarian aid crossed the border into northwestern Syria through Idlib's Bab al-Hawa crossing. The crossing is the only way UN aid can reach the region without traveling through areas controlled by the Syrian government. Mr. Guterres promised more help was on its way, and he urged the UN Security Council to allow supplies to be delivered through more than one border crossing. This is the moment of unity. It is not a moment to politics or to divide, but it is obvious that we need massive support, he said. Munira Muhammad, a mother of 4 who fled Aleppo after the quake, told Reuters that they were in desperate need of heating and more supplies, saying, "Last night we couldn't sleep because it was so cold. It is very bad." The White Helmets Rescue Group said the only UN convoy that reached the region didn't contain specialized equipment to free people trapped beneath the rubble. This makes us very disappointed at a time when we are desperate for such equipment to help us save lives from under the rubble, the group said on Twitter. Warning of the second disaster. Officials said on Thursday that 17,134 people had died in Turkey. 17,134 people had died in Turkey, and the death toll was at least 3,162 in Syria. the toll surpasses the more than 17,000 killed when a similar quake hit northwest Turkey in 1999. So this is trouble coming back in Turkey. Tens of thousands of people across Turkey and Syria are spending a fourth night taking refuge from bitter temperatures in makeshift shelters, having been made homeless by the quakes. Risat Gazlu, a survivor in southeastern Turkey, who is now living on the floor of a sports complex with his family, said rescue workers didn't arrive until 3 days after the quake. He said many remain trapped under the rubble and others died of hypothermia. If this continues, there could be serious health issues and illness, he told the BBC. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization, WHO, warned a second humanitarian disaster will strike unless survivors can get access to shelter, food, water, and medicine very fast. The WHO's Regional Director for Europe, Dr. Hans Klug, told the BBC the organization's staff in Turkey's Gaziantep have to sleep in cars because there is still hundreds and hundreds of aftershocks. Terrible. Dr. Klug said communities in Syria depend on water reservoirs, which were the first to fall. He said the reservoirs need to be replaced or the country faces cholera outbreaks, which he said was an issue before the earthquake. So it's a mind-boggling, very serious, very tragic earthquake caused the loss of 20,000 plus lives and many thousands injuries and displacement. So concerned citizens media ask you listeners to do your part. Do your prayer first for the victims and donate whatever you can for this challenge in Turkey and in Syria. So you can give your donation to different organizations, so many, but you can use the following: Doctors Without Borders, Red Cross Society, UNICEF, Save the Children, and other non-profit organizations. There are so many, but please do your prayer and donate whatever you can afford for the victims. This is a high magnitude catastrophe, and we are deeply, saddened by the passing of more than 20,000 and by the injury of thousands and thousands, and this is a huge impact. Thank you. That's all I have for today's reading. Let's continue. Isaias and President Isaias welcoming ceremony in Kenya and other videos I selected for today. Thank you. Here we go.
Tunaelekea katika ikulu hapa Nairobi ambapo rais wa Eritrea Isaias Afwerki yumo humu nchini kwa ziara rasmi ya siku mbili. Kwa sasa rais huyo anafanya mazungumzo na Rais William Ruto na sasa wanazungumza na waandishi wa habari.
That's the introduction.
Regional integration. In the spirit to further enhance bilateral relations and regional integration, we discussed strategic cooperation between our two countries. In this regard, I thank you, Mr. President, most sincerely for your commitment to review your country's participation in our regional organization of IGAD. I look forward to working closely with you and the rest of the member states to re-engineer IGAD, make it fit for purpose, and enable it to respond effectively to the needs of our region. To facilitate growth in trade and connectivity between our people and our business, we have agreed to abolish the requirement of visa permanently, effective today. Permanently, effective today. In this regard, we have instructed our ministries of interior to work on the modalities for the ratification of this directive. Given the commitment of my administration to deepen and strengthen our bilateral relations, I wish to confirm today that Kenya will open a diplomatic mission representation in Asmara, and I have consequently instructed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to commence the process of operationalizing this directive immediately. Your Excellency, this will build into our desire as a region to create more connectivity, more networking, to enhance business, to enhance investment, to enhance trade. It is contradictory for us to continue to erect borders with visas and at the same time try regional integration and regional trade. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area provides a framework for this continent to work together in matters of trade, investment, and development. It is counterproductive for us to continue to have a regime that creates obstacles and hurdles for citizens of our continent to move freely, to trade freely, to move products, goods, and services freely across this continent, and therefore our decision, Your Excellency, this morning to abolish visa permanently between our two countries is a welcome momentum for us to build a continent that moves easily, that trades easily, and that does its business without hurdles.
Yeah.
Your Excellency, we have also signed a framework agreement for cooperation, which will form the basis for elaborating joint action across various sectors. I look forward to the next joint commission of cooperation to give traction to each of these areas of action. I also look forward to continued and strengthened cooperation at the multilateral level and wish to thank President Afwerki for his gracious support of Kenya, including during our campaign for the United Nations Security Council seat. I have no doubt, Mr. President, that stronger cooperation will go a long way in driving the agenda of at the global as well as at the regional level, and to ensure that all dynamics beyond the continent continue to impact positively on the lives of our people. Your Excellency, your decision to reconsider the membership of your country in our regional body, IGAD, will bring fresh impetus, will guarantee new wisdom in managing the affairs that are affecting our region, especially, Your Excellency, in the context of climate change. Greater cooperation, greater synergy, building connections between our region, especially in the Horn of Africa, that bears the brunt of climate change, is necessary now more than ever before. And I look forward, Your Excellency, to working with you as we build on the relationship between our two countries to provide necessary support to our region. Your Excellency, your decision to review relations between your country and Ethiopia in 2018 was a momentous occasion for our region. Your wisdom in making sure that we build a more harmonious region speaks for itself. And I look forward, Your Excellency, to working with you to deal with the challenges we have in the Horn of Africa. And I want to single out your training of Somali soldiers who are helping us pacify Somalia. We have Kenyan troops there, and your support for the Somali government by training their troops helps Kenya in making sure that we deal with the challenge of insecurity, the challenge of terrorism in Somalia, and I look forward to working with you to ensure that we stabilize Somalia, we eliminate terrorism, and we build a much more secure region. I also look forward, Your Excellency, to working with you in resolving the issues in Sudan and South Sudan, and working with our brothers in Ethiopia to build a better region for all our people, and ensuring that we make this region attractive for investment and for trade and for business. Your Excellency, again, on my own behalf and behalf of the people and government of Kenya, I want to thank you, and it is my hope that I will have another opportunity to host you, Mr. President, and my dear brother, His Excellency Isaias Afwerki, to this home, Kenya, again and soon. I know you call this place your home. Kindly convey my warmest regards on behalf of the people of Kenya to our brothers and sisters in the great country of Eritrea. Mr. President, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, this
Mr.
is very...
President, I would start by saying again, congratulate you for your presidency, number one. I congratulate you for this initiative you took to visit Asmara and inspire everybody, including myself, to face the challenge. And as the saying goes, don't add anything to a wise person's comments or comments.
Working for a Major League Baseball team, I did that.
Not just any team, but Sydney's Cardinals.
Person's comments or comments. What you have said, what you have mentioned is a joint statement for Eritrea and Kenya and beyond. So thank you for that again. You are inspiring millions across the region in Kenya, Eritrea, Somalia, Ethiopia, Sudan, South Sudan.
This
Djibouti,
cooperation in another
else,
way
and
is a
across
challenge
the
for
continent. So
those looking
for that again, I would like
justice
to sincerely thank you
for the
for
two-year
this achievement.
war
This
in
is a
Israel.
milestone. This is a serious time where we,
Don't
as
expect
I
from
indicated to
IGAD
you
or
while we were
African
joking,
Union to
we need
make
to work
these
48
people
hours a day. There
accountable
are
for
48
the war.
hours per day.
And
We'll have to recoup our lost
it's going to
opportunity
make harder
and work
for
better
United
in
Nations
a very refined manner so
experts
that we can
to do
move
any
faster
investigation
and
if
achieve what we have lost the last 2 decades and
if
maybe
this
more.
person is welcome
Once again,
in
I
IGAD
think
and
this joint statement you have made
enjoy.
is enough
Welcome.
to explain what we are about. One very significant thing this morning, you talked about IGAD, your suggestion that we need to reconsider our membership to IGAD. I readily say no question about that.
Confiscation of properties.
Joining or coming back again in IGAD with the idea of revitalizing this regional integration organization so that any meaningful bilateral cooperation between Kenya and Eritrea will have to be seen within the context of the integrated region. We cannot achieve bilateral goals without the broader integrated region that we have dreamt to create decades ago. This is no new invention, it's not reinvention, we are not reinventing anything. This is an obligation. In the name of the peoples of the whole region, we have to assume responsibility and revitalizing IGAD so that we can have a functional, real organization for the region is critical. Without that mechanism, ideals, goodwill will not be productive. We'll have to create an institution that is functional and result-oriented, so that we can say we have changed the face of the region. I don't know where I can stop, but I will have to stop here and say your statement is a joint statement for everybody else. I would like to thank your team, our team, and the invited guests who come to listen to this. We would like to prove to you, to everybody else in the region, that this time is completely different. We're working together, we'll achieve our goals, we'll create the necessary mechanisms for implementing goals, we'll have to mobilize resources so that we can be enabled to do what we need to do as an obligation for the peoples of the whole region. Once again, Mr. President, keep it up. Continue in Kenya and outside Kenya. Kenya is my second home, or my first home, your second home is Eritrea, and everywhere else in the country. All the best of wishes for the people of the region, and good luck to Kenya and the people here in this country. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Your Excellencies, we have members of the local and international media. We're going to take about 3 questions. 3 questions, and kindly, when you ask your question, direct it to either of the Excellencies or both if you want, and say the media house you represent. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellencies. My name is Emmanuel Igunza from BBC Africa. My question is to both of you, Excellencies, regarding particularly Ethiopia. Both of the countries are heavily invested in the peace and security in Ethiopia and also in the region. And part of the agreement that the country had made was for the withdrawal of Eritrean troops in Ethiopia, in Tigray region. Have you discussed this, and how do you think about this in terms of taking forward the peace process?
Okay, this advertisement is getting trouble.
Sorry, Your Excellencies, we'll take them in succession, please.
I've gotten the... Repeat what I said.
Can you repeat your question again? I think the mic had a challenge at some point.
I just wanted to find out if you had further discussions regarding the peace process in Ethiopia. Part of it was the complete withdrawal of Eritrean troops in Tigray region, and how you see this as taking forward that peace process.
Okay.
I wish there was a representative from the Ethiopian government here to address this issue, because I have no intention of interfering in this matter, in spite of the disinformation campaign going on, trying to disrupt the process of peace in Ethiopia and trying to create a conflict between Eritrea and Ethiopia, which has been the norm for those who come to promote their agendas in the region. We say enough is enough. Ethiopia will have to enjoy peace. The people in Ethiopia will have to enjoy peace. What happened in Pretoria and Nairobi is a continuation of the aspiration and wish of the peoples in Ethiopia and everywhere in the region. And Eritrea has no agenda, no plan of getting involved in this matter without the permission of the sovereign Ethiopian government. You talk about the withdrawal or no withdrawal. We've said this is nonsense. Don't provoke us to come to misunderstanding. Why are you bothered about Eritrean troops who are there or not there, come out and not come out? Let's assume that the peace process in Ethiopia is going without any obstacles. We would like to see the agreements signed in Pretoria or Nairobi implemented on the ground so that we can secure peace and stability in Ethiopia for the benefit not only of Ethiopians but the whole region.
I think, as the President has told you, that is a matter that is clearly and squarely going on the ground. I think we've made huge progress, tremendous progress in implementing the peace agreement that was signed both in Pretoria and Nairobi, and all governments, including Kenya, which is a stakeholder in some way, all governments are satisfied with the implementation process of what is going on in Tigray. And therefore, I think it is a major milestone in the region providing a solution for challenges facing our region. The original agreement between Eritrea and Eritrea and Ethiopia was groundbreaking. This is something that was outstanding for many years. The fact that that was concluded peacefully in a progressive manner, and the fact that we are also making huge progress in ensuring that Tigray is safe and secure in accordance with the agreement that was signed is also testimony that the region is taking full charge of issues that affect our region.
One thing probably I may add and say, if you don't want this Pretoria and Nairobi agreement to be implemented, don't make a pretext of Eritrean presence or non-presence. This has nothing to do with the implementation of this arrangement, and don't look for excuse, don't look for pretext. That's not available now.
Okay.
Stop.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 2 more questions?
Okay.
Take this. Find them.
You rolled out.
So if you want to finish up that press briefing by Kenyan and Eritrean presidents, you can check it out, Citizen TV. They have the whole video. So, but you know, just last week, Ambassador Linda Thomas expressed the concern about the Eritrean forces still in Tigray. So now the president is saying, you know, don't use this as excuse, but the reality is still committing crimes. I don't know today if they are out today. But... Okay, let's continue with two more videos.
Of the White House and rolled in to
Short
what
ones.
sounded very much
Two
like
short ones.
campaign.
The first one is
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Union,
This was Joe
State
Biden's
of the Union.
State of the Union address, scripted like a CV for a second term.
Because the soul of this nation is strong, because the backbone of this nation is strong, because the people of this nation are strong, the State of the Union is strong. Joining us tonight are the parents of Tyree Nichols.
The parents of Tyree Nichols, a black man beaten to death by police officers, heard the president call for police reform.
Just as every cop when they pin on that badge in the morning has a right to be able to go home at night, so does everybody else out there. Our children have a right to come home safely.
He spoke change too in weapon ownership.
A 26-year-old hero.
When he introduced Brandon Say, who disarmed a gunman in Monterey Park, California, following a mass shooting.
Banned assault weapons now.
Yes. I agree. Banned assault weapons. They are creating chaos, destruction in this
Nor
country.
did they when the president spoke of turning around the economy, uniting the country, and calling on his opponents to work together. Unlikely for some. Joe Biden held that when he addressed the controversial matter.
She called him a liar.
America's debt ceiling. This political set piece was a platform for a presidential run. Joe Biden has said he intends to seek a second term in the White House. There are strong hints of an announcement soon.
Thank you.
Doubts remain about his age and capacity. But in this performance, Joe Biden came out punching. Every inch a one-term president, pitching for a second. James Matthews, Sky News, in Washington.
There we go, Ukrainian President
Volodymyr Zelenskyy has urged his French and German counterparts to send long-range heavy weaponry. Emmanuel Macron and Olaf Scholz have both reaffirmed their support of Kyiv. At a joint press conference, Zelenskyy said France and Germany have the potential to change the rules of the game in the battle against Russia.
Все очевидно, чим раніше Україна зможе отримати потужну зброю, далекобійну, Еммануеле, чим раніше наші пілоти зможуть отримати сучасні літаки. Олафе, чим міцніше буде наша коаліція танкова. Я вам вдячний за те, що ви почали цей шлях. І тим швидше закінчиться ця агресія Росії. І ми повернемо Європі впевнений мир.
Earlier during his visit to London, he called on Westminster Hall to supply fighter jets. The UK is reluctant and says this is a long-term solution, as it will take years to train pilots. As part of his European tour, Zelenskyy has also met with EU leaders in Brussels on Thursday, where he renewed his calls for Ukraine to join the bloc.
There we go. So thank you. These are the updates on videos I selected for you today. I appreciate you taking time with me. Let me conclude by saying this. Addis Ababa, the capital city of Ethiopia, and other cities will be in a critical moment in the next few days, starting today. So, it's very tough to advise those who are determined to die and kill others. Very tough, especially the Orthodox. The Orthodox status quo, those who are, defending the church and blaming the new Synod for this whole crisis, blaming the government, and they are already creating chaos. I have seen different videos, those who listen to the call by the church, getting ready to die and defend the church. They mostly armed with sticks and stones. So it's a very challenging week ahead. So citizens and international partners, diplomats, counselors, they should pay attention to the surrounding and watch where they are going. They have to, be cautious until this tension is diffused, and we have to watch out. I hope the status quo revise its stand instead of trying to create chaos, death, and destruction in Ethiopia. They should reconsider, see something is just out of their control, cannot be reversible, cannot. So they have to devise another strategy to deal with the new synod, the new bishops, 25 of them, plus the public behind them. As I showed you the different videos, thousands and thousands of people are behind them. So it's not a simple matter. It is, as I said, it is at the point of no return. So you can call demonstration and you can call for, sacrifices, all kind of stuff. But what is the end game? There is no end game. There is no end game. These individuals are already welcomed, celebrated, and they are supported, whether you like it or not, by regional, local, and federal government. So you have to figure out, devise another strategy to fight back or to preserve your status quo. But the way you are heading now, just confrontation and creating unnecessary sacrifice. The group is already determined to do it, but we'll see. So just watch out, be safe, everyone living in Addis Ababa and elsewhere. And we'll watch it, we'll follow it, and I'll report to you. Thank you again for coming back. I will be back with, with other good breaking news, not bad one. So long, everyone, and be safe.